It is Tuesday, the 1st of October. I'm your host Ryan Kia, and this is the Quantium Cast. Once again, do forgive me for the tone of my voice, as I am ill, but what we're going to be looking at today is Hydrodec, as the news flow is quite dry. Okay, so, Miton Group had been a major shareholder in Hydrodec. They previously held 14.14% of Hydrodec's issued share capital. Well, Miton just reported that after the 27th of September, of which they reported on the 30th, which was yesterday, that their shareholding is down to 13.19%. So they've been selling shares. The only issue is that Miton Group could continue to sell off 1% by 1%, which could effectively crash the share price of Hydrodec Group. And Hydrodec shares on this announcement crashed all the way from 15 pence per share to around 9.2 pence per share. That drop represents a 40% drop. And if we compare it to the shares on the previous day, before the trading update had been released, the shares are now down 77.5% on an aggregated basis. If we look at the shares on the day before, they were down around 58%. So Hydrodec's valuation is falling at a rapid pace, £2.62 million now, which is way below net asset value. But with this major shareholder selling out, if they were trying to raise funds, they need to ask Andrew Black, one of their directors, to give them maybe a loan, an interest-free loan or something like that. But it seems that Andrew Black is trying to play his own game as well. Andrew Black bought an asset of the companies either to clear their liabilities, which would be positive, or to get whatever asset that was valuable off their books. And this sale was regarding the Australian plant that Hydrodec used to own. Well, now they don't have Australian operations anymore. I remember emailing Hydrodec a long time ago when the shares were many multiples of what it had been now. And they had said that we are not looking to do something to act in the favour of short-term traders, but more so long-term shareholders. Well, if this was what they were talking about, they are not the people who should be handling this business at all. It's absolutely crazy. I could only assume that Hydrodec's management are talking behind the scenes with Miton Group in hopes of attempting to secure a share swap with maybe another institutional investor. And if this can occur, then the share price decline can be finished with. But until then, the shares will likely decline further and further and further. Miton Group have deteriorated all of their own investment value by selling out only 1% and crashing the share price by around 40%. Is absolute madness. But I guess the institutions didn't really want to stick around. They probably saw something coming. The trading update of one. I wonder if the sale of Miton Group had actually triggered the fall from around 50 pence to around 15 pence. If we look on the 27th, that had actually been the day of the trading update. If we see 8 a.m. shares opened at around 45 pence and shares closed at around 15 pence. So it seems Miton Group probably sold into the volume spike. Maybe bottom feeders had tried to actually buy shares in Hydrodec. That random spike in volume would have allowed Miton Group to actually sell off their shareholding in Hydrodec, or at least begin winding down. We don't know if they're getting out for good, but it would be nice if Hydrodec could release a company statement regarding some of these issues, and also cover their profitability issues, because we've noted in previous Quantium casts that actually this company had lost money. And when you're losing money and you have issues here, it will be difficult to secure funding. The only benefit to Hydrodec is that they have Andrew Black on their side, and he will probably lend them more money. But there's only so much money that you can lend before you turn the lights off. So we'll have to see how things go. On the front of the 2.6 million valuation, Hydrodec is intrinsically cheap, but if we look at all the issues, they have additional external woes. So at the moment, we're steering clear of Hydrodec, but we'd love to see things recover here and shareholders gain some value. But it seems like it's been placed and placed and placed, and consolidation, and then place and place and place. And if they consolidate again, I'd be surprised if they could do that. If no action is taken, shareholders could take action, maybe bringing on board activist investors, and those guys can vote at the AGMs and get rid of management. I think management would have been great. I remember looking back a while ago and seeing the expertise with Chris Ellis and a couple of others. Those guys seem to love the industry and love this business, but it seems that any value hasn't materialized. It has just been shattered for any shareholders, especially long-term shareholders. It seems that if you were a short-term trader, you would have probably lost less money. That Holdings RNS dropped yesterday, and it dropped around mid-market to the point where the shares had tumbled immediately after shareholders found out. What remained of the existing shareholder value had fallen by 40%, as we mentioned. And what I'm going to do is monitor any existing developments so that as soon as I hear anything new, best note that there will be another Quantium cast updating our fellow listeners. I've been your host Ryan Kia. Until next time.